I think you hit it on the nose. This was an opportunity just to show, another side of the talent within the craft of acting, and wanted to take on a different role, to position myself to be a leading man for more than just the world of funny, right? I think I've been positioning myself for this type of role for quite some time when you look at the movies of the past and The Upside, Fatherhood, the series of True Story, just taking a step in a more serious direction. And now I think in doing that, you allow more room for other amazing comedic personalities and talents to not only shine, but to help elevate a story that you can help carry in more of this serious manner. So in this side, it was amazing to see guys like Billy come in and show up and show out, and I was able to set them up with, alley-oops and lobs, where at one point in time, that's what people were doing for me. So it's a nice little switch of understanding and positioning. But at this point in my career, I'm having a lot of fun with the ability to change up and navigate how I want and how I choose. Well, I think, first of all, for the company of Hartbeat, these are the opportunities that we have worked extremely hard for, right? And by opportunities, I mean the moments of trust from a partner within the studio to say, we trust that this studio can now deliver. They've done the work to get up and lead up to this moment. So the big thing is the budget of $100+ million being given to a company like ours, and us being able to go out and help put the pieces to the puzzle together that we think can help us best deliver. I think F. Gary Gray was an amazing piece to that puzzle. I definitely want to take my hat off to Simon Kinberg as well, who was an amazing asset, an amazing producer overall, but just acted as a great partner for us that we were able to learn and develop with. I think the biggest thing is okay, well, guys, this is what we do and what we can do. Let's go get a cast. Let's go get the director. Let's go make sure that our story is grounded and real. And the biggest focus after that is making sure that we do exactly what we said we could, which is deliver. And I think from a priority aspect, that's the biggest point. That's the one thing that we focused on as a company. And Bryan, you can chime in.
Yeah, to Kevin's point, this is our biggest film to date, and we work with some amazing partners, and Simon Kinberg, who's produced and written some of the biggest movies of our time, and obviously Matt Reeves, an incredible filmmaker. But when we met with F. Gary Gray, Kevin and Gary really clicked. Gary has done already 2 other amazing heist movies, whether it's Set It Off or The Italian Job. So for this film, he wanted to do something really different. And his vision for it is just really incredible. So I think we are deeply excited for people to see it this Friday.
I don't know. It's not a fight. And I think, in the times of now, the conversation of struggle is highlighted more than the conversation of support. And, I think the support conversation should be forefronted a little more, right? Because the want for diversity and inclusion or woman empowerment is one that everybody's kind of they've already positioned themselves to be a part of the change. And when you look at materials all across the board, all of the studios, all of the streaming platforms, you're seeing more and more diversity and more leads of color on series and movies than we ever have. So I think, the idea of struggle or the idea of fight should kind of just be, I don't want to say put to the side, but I want to say at some point we got to realize that there is a change and has been a change. And when you talk about Hartbeat, just to kind of put a real big spotlight on what we've done, we're an entity that has provided premium content for our culture for quite some time. When you talk about True Story, that was me and Wesley Snipes, right? You're looking at 2 leads of color, but we don't have to say it because the content is so good that the content is what you're talking about and not the actors of. It's a conversation later. In this case, we wanted an amazing leading woman. Gugu acted and presented herself to be that and was our choice from the start. And the studio understood, wow, she's great, she's talented. And making sure that we put the right personnel around it was a priority because we wanted to focus on a global landscape. And to do that, well, how do we tap into global personalities or global faces or global followings? So we were very strategic with that. And I think there's a lot of amazing color, a lot of amazing diversity and great appeal within our characters that we brought to the table.
Yeah, and just to add to that, Netflix has been such an incredible creative partner and business partner. So from Ted to Scott and Bella and Kira, they really gave us the freedom to do what we wanted to do from a creative standpoint. And to Kevin's earlier point, we had really no pushback in how we put this movie together. So they've just been great partners in this whole process.
I mean, within success, all things can happen, right? I don't want to speak prematurely about it, but if people show up, watch it, and the movie, does what we think it will do, then of course I think the world of Lyft can go on. It was set up so that it can be a continuation of, and if so, I'm on cloud 9 about it. Oh, with Lyft. I thought he was going to say in life. I was going to say, Jesus Christ. We didn't start that. The best and worst day. I don't think any day is a worst day. I wouldn't. I'm not going to speak for you, Bryan. But the reason why I say that is because the worst day is not having anything to work on. That's the worst day. So the fact that you're showing up every day, a problem or not, there's always a space for solve. There's always a space for solution. And in that, that means that everybody's putting their heads together and figuring it out. So the best day for me was getting the final go ahead and approvals on directors, cast, and everyone, and knowing that we're going into a start date with alignment. That's the best day. I think the worst day is probably when the strikes and everything had presented themselves, of course, which was out of our control, but now we were just flip-flopping with where we were going to release and when we could, based off of things that we had no control over.
Yeah, man, I'll say the same thing. I mean, the reality is we're making $100 million studio movies. There is no bad day. We are deeply fortunate to be able to create such an amazing film and to be a part of that. There's just no such thing as a bad day. Just the best day is what Kevin said, the same, is the day we started filming was amazing. Because you talk about months and months of development and work to try and get that film to start. So when you're actually on set and hearing, Gary say action for the first time, that was incredible.